Okay, welcome everyone to our Deepen for a Friend group, how to deepen relationships. And it's great to have you all here. Special hi to Hannah. She said, I'm joining this week. Yay. Give me a smile, Hannah. There you go. I'm keeping track of attendance. Oh, yes, I am. Where's the rest of our people? Hello. Not about the numbers, but where are you guys? No, there's beautiful people here, big crowd. And thank you, Hashem. Thank you, Hashem, for allowing us to keep this class with consistency without interruption. It is a great kindness, and it also makes us feel like you want this. So thank you. We're going to open up with Hannah Crystal. We're going to pass the mic to her. Today's topic is forgiveness, following off the heels of last week's topic, which was self-forgiveness. So we've got a lot of work to do. Hannah, take it away.
Okay, hello everyone. So happy to be here, and I had the pleasure of speaking to Rachel before this class. Can you hear me?
Just a little louder would be more comfortable.
Okay. I had the pleasure of speaking to Rachel before this class, and we were saying how this group is kind of like healing and getting closer to Hashem tribe. So thank you everyone for being part of the tribe. And if you're listening and you're not part of it already, you're welcome to join. And it's just such a pleasure to be here. Okay, so I want to share my experience of this work of forgiveness, of self-forgiveness, and of forgiveness to others. And this work is very new to me. It's very raw. And there's something so, I feel that there's something so deep, there's something so intrinsic here, something unworldly almost in this work of forgiveness. So I'm going to share a really recent experience that I had. So I'm in Rivka Malka's healing school, coaching healing school, all the same. And last night we talked about this topic of forgiveness, and she, at the end of the class, she shared with us this mantra. I think Rivka Malka said that it's a Hawaiian mantra called Hope and Noah. And the mantra goes like this: thank you, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me. Over and over. Thank you, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me. And when she turned on this mantra, I started saying this mantra to my sister. And I said to my sister, I'm sorry I couldn't be there for you the way I wanted to be there. And then the mantra continued, and it started going over and over. And I realized that the forgiveness that needed was forgiveness for myself. That I needed to tell myself, thank you, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me. And that I needed to tell myself that it was okay. It's okay to release this. It's okay that I was able to tell myself that I'm sorry for putting the blame on you. Thank you for everything that you have been doing. I love you for who you are. Please forgive me for the blame that I put on you. And it was amazing to see how this whole situation in my head flipped around from I needed to forgive my sister to all of a sudden I needed forgiveness. And I didn't even realize that. I didn't realize that I was putting so much attention on someone else's hurting that I couldn't see my own hurting, my own holes that needed tending. And it's amazing because this whole topic to me is really about teshuva, right? And with teshuva, we can heal a situation retroactively. So when I can heal myself and I can heal my wounds, I can renew my relationship with my sister. I can learn to release the blame I have for myself. I could learn to let go, and I could see the story for what it was. I was just a child doing my best. And the more I allow myself to heal, the more I can forgive myself, the more I can create this relationship with my sister that's more whole, that's where I'm more present, I'm more available, where I'm more real. And so it works together. As I forgive myself, I forgive my sister. And it's one and the same. And it's incredible. I'm going to go back to the concept of teshuva, because teshuva is miraculous. Hashem, we learned that Hashem created teshuva before he created the world. Because the laws of teshuva, the laws of that you could retroactively heal, that you did a mistake, and if you do teshuva from love, you could create that mistake into a mitzvah, into a good deed. It doesn't make sense with the laws that Hashem runs the world. It doesn't make sense. It's above nature, and therefore Hashem had to create teshuva before he created the natural laws of the world. And when we do this work, we bring down that energy. When we forgive ourselves, when we forgive others, when we step into the willingness to let go, we bring that down, that miraculous energy, that unworldly energy into the world. What a perfect time to be doing this work in the month of Kislev, in the month of light, in the month of miracles. And my tefillah is that as we continue to do this work together, as we continue to uncover the raw parts of ourselves, and allow ourselves to step into willingness to let go, into willingness to forgive, that we draw down the energy from Hashem, draw down Hashem's energy of forgiveness, draw down the energy of miracles, of going above nature. And may we see the miracles and the unworldly circumstances all play out in our lives.
Amen. Thank you, Hannah. Thank you, Hannah. Thank you, Hannah. Okay, my friends. Hannah's right. Forgiveness is supernatural, and the whole topic is about us going beyond our nature and beyond what our eyes can see. And there's going to be a lot of questions on this topic. And the questions I have found, they don't necessarily come because the material hasn't answered the questions. The questions come because as we talk about forgiveness, the pains of the heart come up. What about what happened to me? But what about what happened to my sister, right? But what about what happens to those people? But what about the person who hurt me and didn't apologize to me? It's triggering. It's triggering. It's like the hurt comes up. So I'm going to try with Hashem's help to do something that's a little bit different for me. And I'm actually consciously like moderating my tone, because for me, like the experience of resentment and pain is like, it's like a hysterical woundedness that I have been in, like being attacked and feeling attacked, and like it hurts and my heart is torn out, and like I'm laughing, crying. And the amount of stories I've had in my head about other people, both real and fiction, they feel the same. I'll usually like give this kind of thing over in a very like humanistic like way. But with time and my journey of forgiveness, it has deepened for me, and I have come to self-forgiveness, and I've also come to see the different experiences of forgiveness and how the wounds live in our heart, as in our Rachel sides and our Leah sides. So I'm like trying today, please Hashem, it's my first time to kind of approach this from a gentler place. Okay? Hashem, please help me. Okay. So one thing that I would like to share with you is that the journey of forgiveness is what brought me into the world of coaching and healing. It was, and what I'm going to share with you was the crux of my early healing. it just was very, very important to me. And when I was in a space of resentment, I found that my resentment against one person was actually mirroring pain that I had throughout my life. So in other words, all of one trauma happened and all the wounds came up. And I desperately wanted to forgive because I couldn't recognize myself being in trauma, being in pain, being in disgrace, going to bed. Honestly, I was like so hurt. I would just go to bed at 5 o'clock in the evening. I'd like take care of the kids, go to bed because I had no emotional energy left, get back up at 7 o'clock because it's time to put the kids to bed. But like for that chapter of time, I don't know what it was, a couple months, 6 months, I couldn't. Really got sick of it. I had to do something about it. And so I have like a lot of stories about this, but I want to give over information. So I'm going to condense my drama into just a few sound bites. But essentially, I took a coaching course where we were learning about helping our clients make commitments and how it has to be like something that matters to them and they'll follow through on, and how to hold them accountable. And I was like, I commit to forgive. And I didn't know how to do that because I was miserable, but I committed. So Hashem helped me. And he brought me to different books and information, and he just brought this determination. And at one point, I was working so hard on it, on this letting go, on this releasing, on this seeing the good, and the seeing the good in the other, seeing the good in the situation, just working so hard on it. At one point, one of the people who hurt me, they actually knocked on my door. It was a surprise. I was like, I've been trying to keep, they were at my door. And this crazy thing happened, which is that I reached out and I hugged them. That's the first thing that I did. It was like, what just happened? And it wasn't resolved in my heart completely, but something had moved because I just hugged them. It was a short exchange. They left, and I went like running like wild and free. It had taken one of the stones off my heart. And then it continued. I like davened to Hashem. I was like, please, I want to forgive and I want to speak about forgiveness. Will you please give me a chance to speak about forgiveness? And by the time Yom Kippur comes, and then I got this email asking me to speak about forgiveness in the 5 towns. Like things just kept on happening where I saw that this work of forgiving others was actually the repair of my own heart. And that's the truth of it. When we forgive others, and I will show you some of the steps that Hashem guided me to. When we forgive others, we find ourselves. Because if you imagine your heart, it's a space, it's a ball, and it's filled with stuff, all kinds of resentments and stories. It's just one heart. You only got one heart, And if it's filled with toxicity, negativity, resentment, sadness, victimhood, there's just less room for light, for Hashem, for you, for self-love. And all of this energy that I was putting into whatever situation it was, that was energy that was taken away from me. And a human being is made to love. We are made to love. That's what we're here for. We're pieces of Hashem made to love ourselves, to love others, to love Hashem. So these stories, they essentially, they hurt us. While I was doing this work on forgiveness, people would start to come to me and tell me about their stories, and they were remarkable stories. One person told me about how she texted her ex-husband who had been unfaithful in their marriage, and she said to him, I forgive you. I want there to be a flow that is good between us. And they weren't even in constant conversation. I have her text. I didn't dig up these old notes because now they feel very private, but this was the dialogue where she was telling him, I forgive you. And he was saying, like, you have no idea what that does for me. And she just like poured goodwill onto him, and he poured goodwill back onto her. And I'm sure that this helped him to forgive himself. And you may think to yourself, well, such an act is unforgivable. How could she forgive him? I mean, they did get divorced. How is that even forgivable for oneself? And the truth is that we have no choice but to forgive ourselves. Hashem wants us to be in relationship with him. And in order to do that, in order to do any kind of tshuva, we have to first, well, I shouldn't say first, part of the tshuva could come second, oftentimes second, because we need to feel the regret. But at some point comes this time where we say, I have compassion on myself that I was overtaken by my Yetzer Hara. I have compassion on myself for this human experience. I have compassion on myself that I was small and I didn't know better. And when we don't, what happens is that we are in relationship with the shame instead of in relationship with Hashem. So here's Hashem, and I say, I can't look at you. I'm interacting with my shame that tells me I'm bad. I did this wrong. I mismanaged this. I couldn't. It holds us tight. It holds us not in the stream of love. There is a channel of love, and when it comes from Hashem and we receive it, it flows to others. Okay, this is all abstract. I hope I didn't go too abstract for you. I'm gonna break it down now. So the premise of forgiveness goes like this. There's a few important principles. The number one principle is to know that anyone or anything that came to hurt you actually came to heal you. Okay? When you're very young and horrible things happen to innocent children, this is a healing, obviously, from a past lifetime. It's like a new wave of, it's like setting the stage for a new wave of healing. This is one piece. In adulthood, anyone who comes to hurt you is actually a messenger for your own healing. How do we know this? Hashem is our Father, our protector, our beloved, and He is the only one who is in charge, and He does not let people hurt us. He doesn't let. It is an avera. It is against His will for people to hurt us. Therefore, even if someone did something that was very bad, that they must apologize for, that they have to do tshuva for, that they are accountable for, we are never truly their victims. Hashem has not taken His eye off the situation for a minute. And He is making sure that even though this person acted horribly, ultimately the GPS is always heading in the direction of our benefit. He did not abandon us. He will not abandon us. When a person hurts you, there's many different pieces of this. So I know there's a lot of questions. I see them coming in, but there's like more and more. Just stay with me on these principles, okay? When a person comes to hurt you, and we are talking about in adulthood, here, for the most part, teenagehood, adulthood, etc., they can only hurt you in as much as you have a space that was ripe for the hurting. In other words, if you tell me, your ears are so big, I've never seen anything as ugly as that, my feelings are not hurt. I don't have any self-consciousness about my ears. You have not triggered me, okay? But if there's a place inside of you that has self-doubt about your ears, now someone else is going to come, their comments are going to trigger you. You understand? So if you feel insulted that the principal didn't call you back on time and you feel like I'm a second-class citizen in this school, this is nothing to do with the principal. They're just managing their phone calls. You, precious person, have an inner pain of I'm a second-class citizen. They trigger it, and now comes an opportunity to look at that false belief and to heal it. Now I ask you a question. Why? Why must we go through this process of being triggered on our false beliefs? Why can't we just have them and people just be nice to us, right? And I know that we have other questions about God being nice to us and all this, but just start with that, okay? Why can't people just be nice? Answer. Hashem has brought us into this world for a godly mission, the uncovering of our own radiance, which is the uncovering of his radiance. In English, that means Shem wants us to be happy and whole. And we only know happiness by virtue of contrast. Like I always say, a fish does not know that it's in water. It's where it lives. My children, Baruch Hashem, they don't know they're safe. They never thought about safety. They live in whatever, it's not so safe anymore here in Baltimore, but for most of the years of their life, they lived in safety. They don't know the contrast. We learn through the process of contrast. We learn the Galus Geula, concealment, revelation. The more Hashem wants to give us, the greater the contrast he creates. The greater the contrast he creates. I'm going to tell you something. It's a difficult thing to say, but I'm going to say it. Before, you know how much I love giving this class, right? I love it. We all love it. Do you know how many rejections I faced before this seeming success, this click? Do you have any idea how many, like, circumstances, just like, I can't, rejections, life. I'm not even gonna tell the story because it's not even a story. It's just Hashem created for me a special experience of no, so that when this yes would come, it would be the greatest yes. It would be on my terms, giving the Torah that I wanted. I'm not part of a shul, synagogue, organization, or kiruv outreach thing. It's Rivka, Malka, with the people that want to hear. It's, it's a holy space. There's no money involved. There's no kavod involved. There's no nonsense. There's no other authority. It's us and Hashem. It's how I like it. And all of these other things, I would have been submitting to somebody else's vision, somebody else's organization, somebody else. Hashem said, no, Rivka Malka, I want to give it to you in the sweetest way possible. So here, I wouldn't even recognize how sweet this is. Literally every week I get in a good mood. It's instant. 2:00 comes, I'm like, this is so amazing. Because it's so sweet because of that experience. The greater the gift Hashem wants to give us, the more concealment. I'll tell you what happened last night. Last night, we're on a new thing in my family. The kids take turns making dinner. I still get 2 nights of the week. So my daughter is 15. She made dinner. She's super organized. Everything was in pans, in the fridge, ready to be popped in the oven. Comes dinner time, and this kid has been planning all day. Comes dinner time, and 2 of the children are out. And this is a really criminal offense. It's only our first week of having family dinner at 6:00. It's her first time making dinner. She is so disappointed. 6:00, we're supposed to be together. I planned for this. We wait for them. Actually, we changed it for 5:30, special for that day. So we're waiting. It's already 6:00. We call my 2 kids who are out. What's happening? Oh, Frank needed help. Frank is a family friend. Frank needed help. It took longer than we thought. And my poor daughter, she was so excited. And you could imagine how awful she felt. She's industrious. It's planned. They're not showing up. And they were just like, somebody else needed help. Sorry, not showing up for dinner. I was not so happy. I was trying to keep it calm. I was like, well, I'm really hungry. Let's eat. Let's do it. So we sit down, we have dinner. It's just us. Me, my husband, her, and her younger brother, who, he was almost out the door. It's really disappointing. Anyway, as we're kind of wrapping up dinner, knock, knock on the door, in comes my 2 daughters. And who's with them? My son and daughter-in-law hopping back from their vacation in Costa Rica. And it was the best. Her big brother came home. That's why they were away. They weren't away to be horrible. It wasn't withheld from her because nobody appreciated her dinner. As a matter of fact, we're having a party for dinner. Look at this. Look what's happening. This is one It's one of the principles of how Hashem works. Is the greater the degradation, the greater the honor, the greater the concealment, the greater the revelation. We must know that when we face concealment, that there is something around the corner that is waiting for us. There really, really is. Now, we're going to press pause on that for a minute. I could say so many stories about that. But we're going to press pause, and I'll tell you why. Well, okay, we're going to press pause, and we're going to review the first principle, because now I gave you two principles at once. The one who came to hurt you came to heal you, because Hashem wants you to be healed. He does not want you to walk around with a false belief. He will take away that which you are leaning on in order that you can find the truth. He will trigger you to the same pain again and again until you realize, I don't need validation from people. I need it from myself. I'm no longer having people take advantage of me. I'm responsible for setting my own boundaries. All of these, he's growing us up. He's triggering those early lies so that we can find out about who we are and find out about his love for us. And we have seen this. We have seen stories of people who face tremendous loss. And in the loss, they find themselves. And we human beings are very, very stubborn. We will hold on to these old beliefs about blaming ourselves, or about being unloved, or about being all alone forever if Hashem doesn't interrupt us. And then let's pause over there. Now, we have some questions. A very, very simple question that is always asked. What about the honest experience of victimhood? Someone asked here about a child. And this conversation came up at the table this week about Yaakov and his wives, Rachel and Leah. My husband was saying, I just can't understand, like, poor Yaakov had such a hard time. And then after all that, Rachel died. I don't understand how this is possible. And I shared with him this wonderful insight about Rachel was in perfect alignment with Yaakov. She understood his state of victimhood so well. She was his perfect mate. Yet he would never have been able to be a Yisrael without Leah. Leah needed to elevate him beyond this. Leah was the master of prayer, the one who says, no, there is Hashem's love, there is Geula, there is light. It doesn't need to be awful. So he needed Leah in order to do his mission of becoming Yisrael, which ultimately is Mashiach, right? So in the Yisrael form, that's why when he left Lavan's house right away, he met Esav. Now he's ready to take on Esav with Leah as his wife. Okay? So I thought this was marvelous. I said Rachel and Leah were two halves of one whole, and Yaakov did work with one and then work with the other. My husband didn't look satisfied. I said, you're not satisfied, are you? He said, no, he lost his wife. He just lost his wife. I mean, what are you going to say about that? And that's when I had this awakening. I had this awakening that there is a piece of the work specifically for Leah's, if you have identified yourself in your masculine essence, that is about realizing that Hashem is always healing you. He just is. He's always healing you. He's crazy about you. And he's going to keep giving you circumstances, and none of them are to hurt you. And this, I promise, never wants to hurt you. He's literally growing you. And Alea has a masculine essence. She is grown through this coach, you know. Rachel is a whole different story. And I've been in this conversation all day now with my daughter, with my husband. Rachel is a whole different story. And when I say Rachel, I'm not trying to divide up people. I also mean the Rachel within us, you know, the feminine part of us. But some of us have more masculine and feminine. The Rachel is a different story. The Rachel says, you hurt me. I was hurt. I was victimized. I'm so good. I never tried to hurt anyone. I never did anything wrong. Why does it have to be so brutal? Why would life have to be so hard when I'm such a gentle creature? I would learn from gentleness. Why are you making things so tough on me? Come on. And I've had it tough since I'm a child, one might say. Why? Why do can't we just all get along? Can't me and you get along? I'm so devoted to you, Hashem. Why would you make this happen? It's a completely different experience. And the Rachel heart is not satisfied by knowing about her kavod, how much I believe in you, how much I see in you, what a queen you are, what a king you are. No. The Rachel heart needs deep comfort, deep understanding, and deep compassion. The Rachel heart needs an apology. I'm so sorry. You are right. It hurt horribly. It wasn't nice and it didn't seem fair. And the reasons are so beyond your capacity. And that's why, just like on this planet Earth, the pain is unbearable because, like, the heart just hurts. And the Rachel heart can only be comforted by true compassion and understanding. And so the experience with Hashem is actually a repairing of the relationship. Hashem, can I trust you that I can serve you without working so hard? Can I trust you that I am loved as I am and I won't get bopped over the head by another tzara, by another pain? Hashem, could you please be gentle with me? Am I allowed to ask for that gentleness? Because I know that I've been holding up so much amuna and I've been holding so tight and I've been loving you even despite the pain and loving others despite the pain. Is it okay to ask for rachamim, for a gentle experience? Can you be a tender father for me? So the Leah is like the dimension of a powerful father in Hashem, and the Rachel, who has had this powerful father, who has, brought tremendous tsaras. Now she's saying, Hashem, please could you show yourself to me as a tender father? So this was a new experience for me to understand this, that no reasons in the world take away the pain of the heart. No reasons in the world take away the pain of the heart. So when we do our own work in forgiveness, we focus on our primary experience first. If I'm a Leah, I first focus on how is this growing me? How is Hashem by my side, rooting me on, giving me experience after experience of unbelievable closeness with him, finding out about my greatness when I felt like ashamed and disgusting and rejected. And then afterwards, self-compassion. Wow, that was such a hard journey. And for the Rachel, it's the opposite. It's giving herself the compassion. I find my Rachel friends are so full of goodness, kindness, loyalty. They'll take the suffering, they'll hold it in their heart, they'll daven for others, they'll accept others, but really it's like it's too much in there. They're holding it all in. It's so hard. So the Rachel first primarily has to start looking towards herself with gentleness and receive gentleness from other people. Be held by real human beings with real compassion for what she went through, real understanding for the heart work, and slowly start to treat herself with more gentleness. And eventually, as she does that, she can open up to the gentler side of Hashem, which she was not shown. Okay. So how does all this relate to forgiveness, this healing process? In forgiveness, we're asking of ourselves something absolutely supernatural. Please undo what was done. How could that possibly be? Let's take it. Somebody hurt me. Damage is done. What happens now? And so it's important for us to understand when a person, and I'm going to talk to the Leahs now because I'm really realizing it's a different conversation. I'm talking to the Leah side of you. When a person comes to hurt you or attack you or reject you, whatever they're tangling with you in some way, what they are really cosmically doing is they are being drawn to your light and they want it. Their darkness needs your light. Okay? I don't like you means I need your light. It doesn't actually mean I don't like you. It means I see your light and I wish I had it, so I don't like you. What do? Well, we cannot be violated. We cannot just say, okay, step all over me, be mean to me, take my light, then I'll be in dark. So you could feel light. That's not okay. What we do in that situation is we let go of seeing this person as the villain. We let go. We realize that they are a healing messenger. We do our own healing for whichever way it hurt us. And as for them, we send them to Hashem, who is the true source of light. They see a piece of Hashem in us they want, but they're never going to get it from us. We're just human beings. We're not in charge. Go to Hashem. How do you send someone to Hashem? They want to tangle with you, right? Answer, you daven for them. When somebody is destructive in your life, abusive, destructive, mean, the Torah does not obligate us, and I can pull out my sources if it makes you happy. I always remember the practical, but I have all my svarim right here. The big book by Sarah Yudit Schneider called You Are What You Hate, a spiritually productive approach to enemies. We could talk about it for hours and hours and hours. I'm really giving like the nugget of it. But she explains Bilam and Moshe, the light, the dark, the exchange. I mean, it's unbelievable. But, but the sources say you are not obligated to be their friend, but give them the light. Do the tikkun that they came to give you and daven for them. They came to do a tikkun with you. There was a tangling of these souls that was meant to happen. Daven for them. Bless them. Send them on their way. And you will see that they will gently move out of your life or move into a new space in your heart. Ultimately, when you're healed and they're healed, the best thing is if we can all hold hands around Hashem. Hashem, of course, wants his kids to be friends. There's no question about it. That's where we want to be heading. But if you are currently in the middle of a situation where you're holding on to a resentment with someone, here's the work that you want to do. You want to feel all the feelings of the resentment. Feel the whole pain of the story. You want to recognize the beliefs about yourself that have come up with this story. In other words, the beliefs that they triggered that were already there. I'm alone, I'm unloved, I'm unwanted, I'm not part of the community, blah, blah, blah. I'm different, I'm weird, I'm misunderstood. All of these things. How did they trigger you? You want to take a trip back into the past. Who am I? How did these beliefs come from? How did these beliefs form? And then you want to do the following. You want to ask Hashem, could you show me? Could you please show me how this situation is part of my development? Hashem, could you please show me how this is part of my mission? Hashem, could you please show me what you're trying to heal in me? That's for the Leah. For the Rachel, she does something else. She says, Hashem, could you please apologize to me? If you don't like the word apology when it comes to Hashem, it could be a little abrasive because he's perfect. You could say, Hashem, could you please send me a message of your unbelievable mercy? Could you please comfort me? Could you please show me compassion? And then, and we're going to do this today, you can write a letter from Hashem to yourself with this message. You can be his messenger. This is one way. You can do this in prayer, verbally. You can write it down like we're going to do today. You can do this over the course of a year, asking Hashem again and again, please comfort me and show me your mercy. Or asking Hashem and again, please could you show me like your great plan for me? How does this fit in with your plan? I want to know. I'm sure it's not random. Show me what you see of me. Show me my own glory. Show me your glory. When all that work is done, the feeling the pain, the understanding the pain, the bringing in Hashem's healing, you can also do an additional work of releasing the other. You can do this verbally. You do not have to do it to them. You can release them. I release this entanglement of the souls. And then, this is really important. You, human being, have a guf, a body. And the guf experienced this pain, whether it cried the tears or had the stomach aches or had the punches of abuse, God forbid. The guf needs a reward for spiritual work. And this is I learned this from Sarah Chavit Rigler, and I always keep it in mind. That's why I've got lots of jewelry, because the guf needs a reward for spiritual achievements. Yes, not to say that I have a lot of spiritual achievements, but I try, and I need these rewards. Go get a reward for this work that you did. Get a monthly reward if you're doing this work the whole year, if you're working hard on forgiving and releasing. Get a new dress, get a chocolate, get a massage, get a perfume, get a flower, get a book. Make a date with a friend. Give your guf a reward. Do something nice for yourself, because this is hard work of the world. And when we do this amazing thing. When we do forgiveness and release, we transform darkness into light. Vayehi or. It says in Bereshis, in the beginning Hashem created, Bereshis bara Elokim es hashamayim ve'es ha'aretz. In the beginning God created heaven and earth. Ve'ha'aretz haysa tohu vavohu. The world was emptiness and confusion. V'choshech al pnei tehom. And there was darkness on the face of the deep. It was so dark, this pain. V'ruach Elokim merachepes al pnei hamayim. But the Spirit of Hashem, it hovered just above the water. There it was for the taking. Vayomer Elokim yehi or, vayehi or. And Hashem said, let there be light, and there was light. How does that happen? How does darkness turn to light? Because the Spirit of Hashem was always hovering there in every pain you ever experienced. And we do this process verbally in prayer and with each other and in healing. Vayehi or, we create light through the speaking it out. And then we go from tohu vavohu, from emptiness and confusion. I'm in pain, I'm hurting, I have this story, that story, that story. It's massive chaos on the inside, to light. There is purpose. Sometimes purpose I can understand, and the layers love to understand, and it's beautiful. And sometimes purpose, because what I most long for is to be comforted and held by Hashem and by people. And that's enough for now. Rachel mevaka al baneha. Rachel is in pain. It wasn't fair to the human eye. It did hurt. She does continue to cry and be in pain. And she deserves and continues to and can continue to receive comfort for what happened. Amends. The Geula is Rachel's ultimate amends. The Leahs, they are the supporters of the Geula process by finding the light in the darkness. And the Rachels need to be the recipients of Leah's light. So why do I say that? Sometimes there will be a husband and wife situation. A wife can be a Leah. She can already be experiencing the light. She brings it to her Rachel husband, who has the experience of still taking note of the pain. A sister can do that for another sister. A Leah sister can hold so much space of compassion for a Rachel who is still in pain, as she finds her own strength and purpose. Now, there are many, many, many other dimensions of forgiveness, many other dimensions, and we can definitely address them. But because we are on a time, and I'm happy to address them, it's my favorite topic, one of my favorites, and it's the healing of the world. I have time, and I don't know all the answers, but I'm happy to address them. But in the interest of time, because we are here together technically till 3 o'clock, we are going to take some time now to do a little bit of transformational healing, just a little taste. Like Hannah said, when we do work in this school, it's a safe place to go deeper. Here on this forum, it wouldn't be safe or smart. Thank you, Rachel, for this advice to take us through all the layers of this experience. But you can join us there, God willing, when we open again. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to turn on a little bit of music here. Hang on just a moment. And I will answer these very practical relational questions at the end of this 5, 6, 7 minute exercise, okay? Give me a moment, please. I'm going to bring up a little bit of music. I like that. Okay. So, do I need to turn that music a little quieter, or is it okay? Lower. Rachel's my moderator here. Esty, thank you for the question. We'll be opening school in about a month or 5 weeks. Actually, that's soon. Usually I say in 6 months, but it's getting closer. So we're breathing. And when we breathe, we're just exhaling, letting out some whatever we're holding in, becoming aware of the feelings, the protests, the inner protests, the inner anguish, even the discomfort, like, gosh, I still have more questions, or forgiveness, that was whatever's going on in there. I know it took me years. We're not going to do this in a less than 1 hour class, but I know and I honor how real the human experience of hurt is. It's awful. And the heart that protests, but I was hurt, it has every right to protest. Every right. So now I just ask you, and I ask Hashem to open up this space, to see if you can perhaps receive a message from Hashem, a message of comfort, and or a message of purpose. It can be both. It can include all of it. See if you can bring down a message from Hashem to you, of your belovedness, of the spaces He was healing, of comfort for the future, pride, love. You know what you need to hear. Okay. if you can do this in writing, it's really wonderful. It will be a gift for you and it will concretize this message. And if you just want to breathe, then that's good too, because I'm going to be quiet now. If you're listening to this recording, just know that we are all breathing together for the next 3 minutes, and you can just drink in the healing comfort, the knowing that your pain is seen. An image from Rachel, which is imagine that these pains or these people are balloons that you're holding on to. And you can let these balloons go one by one so that your hands, which have been clutching them, can be free to hug, to hold, to live. This is about finding freedom. If you're breathing, keep breathing consciously for another minute. Just let Hashem love you fully. And I am seeing these questions come in. Slowly, slowly, we're going to turn off the music. If you're writing, keep writing. Okay. Thank you for thanking me in the chat box. So if anyone needs to go now because we are at the 3 o'clock time, I bless you. I bless you that whatever work you began today, you continue. And I offer you that forgiveness is more than possible. It's what Hashem wants, and He will help us. And all we need to have is the willingness. We are not Hashem. We can't wipe it all away. We can't. But if we have the willingness, Hashem assists us. And we're going to talk now. I'm going to share with you. I wonder if Rachel is available. I don't want to put you to too much work, Rachel, But are you available to share the forgiveness meditation, the forgiveness prayer? Okay. So there's two things that we're going to share.
Malka, I'm at work and I can't share my screen.
Okay. Oh, you don't need to share it out loud. What I mean is, could you share it on the chat box? That'd be awesome.
Is it okay if I include it when we send out the link from the class?
Yes,
Recording?
we will send you. Yeah, great. We'll include in our recording a forgiveness prayer that you can listen to. It's a prayer that I wrote when I was in my work, so maybe it will help some of you. And for those of you who are longing to receive special comfort from Hashem, I have also two other recommendations. If you're auditory, there's so many ways Hashem will show you your way. But if you're more auditory, then one of the ways is to listen to the meditation. It's called 8 Minutes of Hashem's Unconditional Love, something that I was also blessed to make when I was in this type of work and really was feeling a lot of healing. So definitely you can listen to that. And the other one, I don't want to play it for too long now, but I will point you in this direction. The meditation that Hannah was talking about is not from me, but if you want to have a gentler view towards yourself or to release, you can look this up online. I'll show it to you real quick. One moment. And it is this. There's oh no.
Thank
Oh no.
you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you.
So that you can look it up by yourself. Just see if there's a few different ones, and it can really be a beautiful way of receiving comfort, forgiving yourself, releasing parts of yourself, releasing other people, feeling a message from Hashem. Okay. I see that somebody wrote their message in the chat box. Is this something that you would like, or that I am allowed to read out loud? Or did you mean to send it privately? Is it okay? Can you tell me? I think I can read it. Okay. So here's something special that someone wrote. My dear child, I didn't know you were so hurt. You're so brave for going through this all alone. I can't believe you felt this way when I was so engrossed in making sure everything goes well for you. You are a true hero. Wow. Wow, wow. I never had a child like you, a child so brave, so strong. My dear child, I will make sure from now on you don't feel so alone, so abandoned. I will be here for you. I will be here and have been here for you to actually listen to you. P.S. I will have VIP service from now on. I love you. Your dad. Thank you so much for sharing that note with us. It's incredibly special. Incredibly special. What a child you are. What a child of Hashem you are. To endure everything that you endured and to look at him and notice that it was for you and to receive his comfort. May this be the beginning of a beautiful healing for you. And if there's anyone else who would like to share their letters, I would love to read it. It's optional. I don't even need to say your name, but it's so precious it's so precious. That's all. So, okay. So we're going to go up to some questions over here. There's a lot of them. Okay. If you still can't speak about it in a neutral way, doesn't it mean that you didn't truly forgive or heal? I'm asking in general. So I don't think that forgiveness and healing are the same thing. I think that they are parts of one thing. When we forgive, we are having the willingness to let go. And that frees us up to heal. So as we heal, we have a truer and greater clearing. But the fact that there is like an energy, like a charge when you hear that person's name, or a charge when you just think about it, that simply means your heart hasn't healed yet. And all you can do, as I described over my year plus process, is to determine, it was more longer than a year, to determine to forgive. I want to. I'll go out of my way to say something nice, or to do something nice, or to think something nice, or to sort out with Hashem, etc. What do you consider complete forgiveness? Wow, what a question. I'm gonna have to like tune in to some kind of, answer in the upstairs, because it's not what I consider complete forgiveness. You are not required to feel something you don't feel. It's actually not possible. An emotion is just like a chemical. But we do have a mitzvah of V'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. And a mitzvah, to love your neighbor as you love your friend as yourself, a mitzvah is a commandment. So it is possible to awaken love through action way before feeling. Awaken love. And what I have found is that ultimately forgiveness is not possible until we turn that loving action on ourselves. I didn't know that for a long time. I think that's why it took me so long, because I was like trying to make it good with the other, all the while not really addressing like, gosh, I got like I need some holding, like we really have one heart. The heart that is compassionate to ourselves is compassionate to others. Every species only knows the other species in as much as it knows itself, is a spiritual principle. In other words, animal does not know man, but man knows animal. We have more self-awareness, so we can understand something that is below us. Whenever you're in a relationship with someone, the more you come to understand your own humanity, your own imperfections, your own triggers, the more you come to love it, the more you come to accept it, the more you see we are all people. They also have, imperfections, and I have imperfections. We can still act in love. This is why the Rachel Leah work is so important, because if we don't understand it, we literally can't understand each other. I mean, this is in psychology and the EFT work that I've just been learning about, emotionally focused therapy. They really talk about the partner that shuts down and the partner that lashes out. My heart is hurting. I'm trying to get you to be in intimacy with me. And the other one says, you're scaring me. You're being too tough. I'm shutting down. I'm shutting away. And this one says, but I want more of you. You're shutting down. You're shutting away. I can't open up. I can't even start speaking. I'm more of a victim. I'm more of a bully. There's nothing left of me. I don't have you. Like it becomes so polarized with the victim and the bully, because we don't understand each other. So we start to learn to understand, oh, these are my triggers, and this is how I act tough, and this is how I get angry and lash out and judge and everything. Oh, this is how I shut down and don't use my voice. We got to learn. Okay, I'm not going to keep talking. I'm going to go to the next question. Okay. So even a child of abuse was never a victim. Yes, they were a victim of a person, but not a victim of Hashem. It's one thing to forgive hurts that are in the past, but sometimes we are asked to forgive ongoing hurts. If somebody is in the process of hurting you in an ongoing way, it is possible to forgive them, meaning to say, I accept your humanity, I forgive you. But it is not possible to have deep relationship and healing of the heart. So you can intellectually forgive them, but not that's not deep relationship. So we want to be very careful that when someone is ongoingly hurting us, if it's in any way horrible or abusive, that we stand up for ourselves, get support, get validation for our reality, and learn how to be stronger on one side. Or that, let's say it's a teenager that's ongoing hurting you, not a spouse, not a friend, not someone you got to get away from. It could even be a child. Then you want to give yourself ongoing gentleness because you have to be enduring this pain. Always we want to be careful about our own belief systems. Do we just have a broken belief system that we're supposed to accept disrespect and pain? Because if we do, that's what we'll get. So when you ask me this question about ongoing hurt, I have to wonder for myself, are you thinking that it's okay for someone to ongoingly hurt you? It's just a question. Are you setting the parameters that will protect your own heart? Is another question. And then sometimes none of those questions are applicable. It's just a painful situation. Okay, we continue with a few more questions. Someone says usually abusive parents are in great pain. Knowing that might help you to forgive them more easily. Yes, when it comes to forgiving abusive parents, what's important is that you do not start by forgiving the parents or accusing the parents. It's like my sister told me, she has a preschool, and in her preschool, she's very careful. She's a great teacher. She said, when a kid bites another kid, you know what the teacher always does? They get the kid who did the biting in big trouble. That's ridiculous. You have a kid who's sitting there who just got bitten. What I do is I pick up the child who did the biting. They have to go out of the room. I'll deal with them later. First and number one, a child just got bit. So when you're thinking about yourself and your painful childhood situation, you cannot go straight to, but my parents were amazing and they tried their best, or my parents were abused themselves, so they acted like this. That's not nice to the child. You're a little child. The first place you have to go to, and this we learn also in our coaching school and the coaching, first place you have to go to is witnessing the pain, having compassion. My goodness, what happened to you? I am so sorry. Come, let me hold you. That was so hard. And look what you were taught, and look how that felt. Slowly, as you become a safe parent for the child, and the child now has a safe parent, now the child can slowly come to see my parents did the best they could in their limited way. They are not Hashem. They are not me. They are my parents. Hashem knows me inside out. I know me inside out. And that's enough. I'm grateful for my parents. I learned from them. I love them. They loved me. They raised me. Whatever they gave me, they gave me. I release them from their imperfections, but that's much later. First comes your healing. Okay. It's hurtful to be tricked or deceived. I can understand eventual forgiveness for this, but how is that hurt about self-confidence on my part? Okay. I didn't understand the fullness of this question, but what I can tell you is that when you are tricked, deceived, or betrayed, one of the greatest pains is that we blame ourselves, like, it happened to me. How did I let that happen to me? And so the healing is going to be Emunah, to understand that we are led where Hashem wants us to go for our ultimate healing, and then to get the healing, which is to become less vulnerable, more discerning, more protective of yourself. Really, we don't know in our striving to be so nice, and especially as followers of the Torah, in our striving to be so nice, We have often lost track of the very basic human right for self-protection. You are allowed to say, please do not speak to me that way, or I cannot answer your question, or you owe me this money, or I need to bring you to Basin, or or I can't be with you now, or you need to leave my house, or you can't talk to my wife that way, or I can't engage in this way. These are healthy human protections. And when we don't have them, things happen to us and we just feel unsafe in the world. Then the world is not safe because we're not safe to ourselves. Healthy human protection is something that our people has to learn, I believe, because we have such an emphasis on kindness without healthy human protection. It's too hamish. Everyone's taking advantage, not everyone, people can take advantage of the other, and there can be not having shalom because there wasn't proper parameters set into place. I work with my sister. Guess what? There's a contract. She's my sister. She's my blood. But Rev Scheinberg spoke about the importance of having a contract in everything because we live on the earth. You can't, like, even when we were talking about a contract, we were like laughing kind of, because so like we're best friends. Hashem wants shalom. Shalom means lines, boundaries, parameters, protections. Not everything goes because it doesn't all go. So you need to know that, and you need to teach your children that. Otherwise, nobody has a voice, and we can land out speaking truckloads of lashon hara, truckloads of negative speak about people, feeling victimized by people, when really we didn't speak up for ourselves. So this is something for us to learn. Okay. How does a Leah deal with pain inflicted by another upon her? I think that we addressed that. She holds her heart, she gets support, she processes the pain, and then she starts to look at how this is just triggering what was already needing to be healed inside of her, and how Hashem loves her like crazy, and he's really elevating her. How can I get the light from Hashem? We get light from anyone or anything by giving and receiving, by being in relationship with them. That's how the light travels. So it might be time to enter into deeper relationship with Hashem, spending 10 minutes a day talking to Hashem, spending longer writing to Hashem, asking Hashem, just yearning, Hashem, I want more of you. I want to give you more of me. Is it okay to say about your spouse that you release the entanglement of the souls? Yes, absolutely. In our marriages, there are different stages. There's different missions to accomplish. So you can have one dynamic, and then it's time to go to another dynamic. It says that Miriam Hanabiah, she was married to two men. Well, she may not. And then, people say it wasn't two men, it was the same man. But it was a different marriage, because when she was in Mitzrayim, she was sickly. And when there was the redemption, she was always yearning for redemption, and she was working very hard for redemption. And when she left Mitzrayim, she was healthy. So they're going to be a different marriage. Different woman means a different man, right? So we have like different things to accomplish within our marriage on both our Rachel side and our Leah side. So we can end one dynamic and begin another. And it always follows the woman. The woman begins that process, but we can release an old entanglement. If you have a codependence, you can literally say, I release this codependence. I'm now standing in myself. That work is over. I release this blame. I'm not doing that anymore. Definitely. What if you did something not good to another person when one was not in a good place? How does one totally forgive oneself? We forgive ourselves by making amends. We didn't talk at length about making amends, but we're going to talk about it now. We cannot stomp around the world like elephants and make an amends. We just cannot. I had a friend whose son was an actor in South Africa, and she was an extra. I just have to say this because it's fun. She was an extra in a scene in a restaurant, and the scene was that elephants came storming through the restaurant. They had to film that scene 7 times, resetting the tables, elephants storming in, everything exploding. Anyway, we can't do that. We can't just like repeatedly storm through people's lives. And sometimes we do, because Hashem puts us in all kinds of positions of literal blindness. We could not see what we could not see. But that's okay, because the Ruach Elokim Merachefes al Pnei Hamayim, the Spirit of Hashem, is waiting there for you to make an amends. And the way an amends looks like is a genuine apology. I'm so sorry for the damage that I caused you, without any excuses. Where you were coming from is not relevant to somebody else's pain. No excuses. I am so sorry for how this felt to you. I never want to do it again. Never. I don't want to hurt you. We have to tell people that I don't want to hurt you. We can't say I'll never hurt you again, because, but we can say I don't want to. That's my conviction, my commitment. And then we say, how can I make an amends? Another words for that is, what do you need from me now? Other words for that is, what are the words that you need to hear in order to feel safe with me? How can I help heal your heart? Okay? All kinds of words that you can say that will help you to show up differently in the relationship or to repair the damage. Sometimes people will need to think about it. And it's hard, and you'd be like, I'm ready to let go. Like, I was in such a bad place. And they're like, I need to think about it, because they've been holding it. Okay, so we want to make an amends. Now, not everyone is going to, not in every relationship conversation goes the exact way you would have hoped, right? And that's why we first need to do the healing ourselves before we ever go to somebody to ask for forgiveness or to request an apology. You've got to do this work in yourself, because you have no control over how it's going to land with the other person. And you don't want to be re-triggered or re-victimized or angry. You just get it clear with yourself, do your own work, and when you're ready, go to the other. It's okay. Hashem is holding the space. Okay. Last question. What if there was a very great rip with your only sibling that doesn't want to connect anymore, and you've davened for resolution for them? So, things that are out of our control. It is painful. And it's beautiful that you're davening for him. And it's awful for your heart to hold this. And I would say that HaKadosh Baruch Hu would want us to know that he's monitoring the situation. He's got it covered. If there cannot yet be a reunion, that means that Hashem is still working on both sides. He's the maker of shalom bayis. Osa shalom b'romav, hu yasa shalom aleinu. He who makes peace in the heavens, hu yasa shalom aleinu. He'll make the peace. Okay? He will make the peace. So perhaps your sibling here isn't safe enough for you yet. Perhaps you need to get stronger, and even as much as you love them, you just can't be connected with them right now. Perhaps there's some lessons that they can't learn about themselves in the face of your awesomeness and your love. It has to be separate for right now. Togetherness is one way of having shalom. Sometimes shalom looks like Hashem's making the peace by healing each party. Like both sides of the couple are going to therapy. That could happen with a sibling. And your tefillos for him are definitely helping. Your prayers for him are definitely helping the matters. Thank you for these blessings. I'm skimming past them, but I'm going to go back and read them because they're precious to me. Thank you. And anything else? Oh, here's another letter. Oh my gosh. Yay. Okay. My dear Neshamala, you are loved. You are wonderful. You are blessed. You are very cherished and special. Never doubt that, and know that you are loved unconditionally always. Cindy, I hope that you receive many, many letters like that. There's so much love there. Please keep going. Someone sent me a very private message from Hashem, so I will not read it out loud, that they wrote. I will not read it out loud unless they tell me specifically to. And Someone is talking to me about that it's still hard to let go of the person who hurt them. Yeah, it's really hard. And yeah, I don't even want to say more about that. It's just hard. But the more that you love yourself, the less you will need to hold on to them. We can forgive and set boundaries. Can I forgive someone but never want to talk to them for safety reasons? Yes, no problem with that. What if you wish something negative for another person because you were in a bad place and it happened and you want to make amends? Well, though our thoughts have power, nothing happens that is outside of Hashem's jurisdiction. And therefore, you did not make it happen. And you cannot make an amends for what happened because you didn't make it happen. Okay? You can replace the darkness with light by loving them, but you didn't make it happen. You're part of Hashem's plan. And it is very possible that he had you hold on to this feeling of, I made this horrible thing happen, because he wants, it's just possible, I don't know what he wants, but it's possible that a great light will come from it. The great light of your tshuva, of trying to have more and more sweeter and sweeter feelings and good wishes towards this person. Maybe they need your prayers that weren't going to be there otherwise. So this like guilt and heaviness is making you turn your focus on them even more. And Hashem is saying, like, please daven for them. Like, you're the one who's been tuned into them all this time and you feel terrible for what happened to them. Please daven for them. Okay. Esty, thank you for your letter. For your message here. I really appreciate it. And you're in the center of my screen, so I've been kind of talking to you. You're like right here with me, and you haven't gone off a video even once. I'm like, we're in it. We're in it. Okay. I am now going to copy all of these amazing messages so that I can read them later. Control C, and I'm going to wish everyone a great day. And I thank us all. Thank you all, human beings. Thank you on behalf of this whole universe for doing such important work, the important work of living, giving, relationship, and striving towards forgiveness and healing. Love you so much. And we have some more messages. Thank you. Thanks, Holly. Thanks, Victoria. Thanks, Michal and Leslie. Thanks, Mav and Yael. Thank you. Thank you, Rivki and Cindy. Okay. Bye. Thank you. RK, what's your name?